tell you something that most of you may not know. There are actually close to 200 provincial nominee programs across Canada. And if you're applying from outside Canada right now, the honest truth is that only a few of those streams will actually consider your application seriously if you don't have connections to that province. I know, you have been researching, you have been watching videos that have told you just apply to the provincial nominee program. You will get 600 points added to your CRS score, and that is almost a guaranteed invitation to apply for permanent residency. It sounds awesome. But I want to have an honest conversation with you about the provincial nominee programs, especially if you're outside of Canada. Make sure that you stay tuned because you won't get this value anywhere else. Now, most provinces have built a quiet wall against overseas applicants. If you look deeper, you realize that they want you to already have a job inside the province, or to have worked there for a year, or to have family there, or to have schooled there, or to already be inside Canada. And if you're outside Canada, the question at the top of your mind is, so which province actually wants me? That is exactly what this video is going to answer. By the time we finish, you will know which provinces gives you the most realistic shot from outside Canada, exactly what the eligibility looks like for each of them, and what your strategy should be depending on your profile. So let's get into it. There are two frameworks or two pictures that people who are hoping to get a provincial nomination have. The first one is that you believe that Canada has a provincial nominee program and it is open to skilled workers around the world. And because you are a skilled worker, you will apply from abroad, get nominated by a province, get that 600 additional CRS points, and get your permanent residence. But the second picture is that Canada's provincial nominee program was designed primarily to help the provinces fill their local labor market needs. And the fastest, cheapest, most efficient way to do that is to retain people who are already inside those provinces, people already working there and already contributing to the local economy. That means people applying from abroad are, in most cases, at the bottom of the selection queue. Not because you're not qualified, but because the system was not primarily built for you. So despite the fact that you have optimized your express entry profile, every time you look at a PNP stream, there's always some requirement that blocks you. It's either a Canadian job offer, 1 year of Canadian work experience, or a connection to the province. And you start wondering if you're just wasting your time. And that is why I want to explain how the provincial nominee program works. There are two types of provincial nominee pathways. The first type is express entry linked, and this is where a province dips into the federal express entry pool, finds your profile, and issues you a notification of interest or a nomination. And when that nomination happens and you accept it inside your RSCC profile, you receive that additional 600 CRS points. That is the power of a PNP nomination. The second type is non-express entry PNP. These are base provincial streams where you apply directly to the province, you receive a nomination, and then you apply to RSCC for permanent residency outside the express entry system. These streams tend to move more slowly, but they are a valid pathway to PR. In 2026, most provinces use at least one of these 6 filters before they will seriously look at your application for provincial nomination. Number 1, a job offer inside the province. Number 2, at least 1 year of work experience in the province. Number 3, a family member who already lives in the province. Number 4, a targeted occupation on the province's shortage list or their priority occupations list. Number 5, English or French language ability. And number 6, a business plan that creates jobs in the province, and this works for business streams. You will notice that age is not usually an important factor in most provincial nominee programs. If you cannot tick any of those boxes for a given province, your chances of being selected by that province are, in most cases, very low. Despite all what I have just said, there are some provinces that are still open to overseas applicants. Now, let me take you through each one of them. Number 1 is Saskatchewan. If you are applying from outside Canada and you want to understand which provinces gives you the clearest pathway, it's Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has built two main streams that are genuinely accessible to overseas applicants without requiring a tie to the province: the Saskatchewan Express Entry Stream and the Saskatchewan Occupation in Demand Stream. And both of them are built around a points system, not a mandatory provincial connection. If you score at least 60 points on Saskatchewan's points grid and you fit the occupational eligibility rules, you can create an expression of interest. If you go to the SIMP website, that is the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program website, you can open an account and fill out your details, and you will be scored on factors including your age, your education level, your language test scores, your work experience, your adaptability, and yes, it does have a points component for a connection to Saskatchewan. But that connection is one factor amongst many. It is just a bonus, which means a strong candidate with no prior Saskatchewan connection can still score 60 points based on education, work experience, and language scores alone. Now, Saskatchewan also has a specific talent stream for people who already have a Saskatchewan job offer. They have the employment offer, innovation and tech talent, health talent, and agriculture talent streams. If you have a confirmed position with a Saskatchewan employer in any of those sectors, you have a very good chance. But like I said, even without a job offer, Saskatchewan Express Entry and Saskatchewan Occupation in Demand are where you can start. My biggest advice for anyone targeting Saskatchewan right now is to start by checking the current SIMP occupation list before you do anything else. Saskatchewan does not nominate people in every occupation. There is an eligible occupation list and it gets updated regularly. Now let's move to the next province, Ontario. On May 30th, Ontario scrapped all its 9 PNP pathways and they are yet to announce any new streams as at the time of making this video. So I won't talk about any of those. But one thing we have seen over and over is that Ontario regularly monitors the Federal Express Entry pool directly. They run targeted selection rounds, sometimes focused on technology occupations, sometimes on healthcare professionals, and sometimes on French-speaking skilled workers. And they identify profiles that match what they are looking for. If your profile matches their selection criteria for that round, you receive a notification of interest from Ontario. Usually, you have a limited window to respond and submit your application to Ontario. But you cannot force Ontario's hand. You do not know when they will pick from the pool. You can only make your profile as strong as possible so that when Ontario runs a round that matches your profile, they can find you. So optimize your CRS score to the highest number possible. Make sure your occupation falls in sectors that Ontario has been actively targeting, like technology, healthcare, skilled trades, and some professional services that we have seen in the past. Provincial application fee for Ontario streams is approximately $1,500. The third province is Alberta. Alberta has its Alberta Express Entry stream, and candidates in the Federal Express Entry pool can be invited. But, and this is a significant but, selection rounds in 2025 and 2026 have focused heavily on specific priority occupations and occupational pathways. I'm talking about healthcare, technology, law enforcement, aviation, agriculture, and construction. If your occupation is inside one of those sectors, Alberta becomes a genuinely viable option from you from outside Canada. Alberta also has 2 other streams that are worth mentioning. The Rural Renewal Stream is entrepreneurs who want to start a business or buy an existing business in a rural Alberta community. They can submit an expression of interest. Then there's the Foreign Graduate Entrepreneur Stream, which is for people outside Canada who have a foreign degree and they want to start or expand an innovative business in Alberta. This one is invitation only after an initial expression of interest and agency review, and the business application fee is $3,500. The bottom line on Alberta is that you can add it to your strategy if your occupation is a strong match for Alberta's priority sectors. Without that, Alberta may not work for you. Those 3 we spoke about, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and Alberta, as of now, are the main provinces that work for people outside Canada. Now, I know you're asking, Sheyi, what about British Columbia? What about Manitoba? What about New Brunswick? I promised you a complete picture, so let me give you my take on the rest of the country. British Columbia is mostly employer-driven or investment-driven in practice. BC's main pathways for workers requires a job offer and employer support from a British Columbia employer. The entrepreneur streams require either an exploratory visit or a community referral. Without a BC job offer or a significant investment plan, BC is unlikely to be your primary pathway as an overseas applicant. Let's move to Manitoba. Manitoba has a skilled worker overseas stream, and it does nominate people from abroad, but Manitoba leans very heavily on genuine Manitoba connections. A family member living in Manitoba, previous education or work history in Manitoba, a strategic recruitment invitation from a Manitoba employer. Without one of those connections, your application is going to struggle. New Brunswick is very strong for French speakers and very strong for people with employer backing from a New Brunswick employer. If you have both of those factors, New Brunswick becomes a real option. For general overseas applicants without French or without employer support, New Brunswick may be challenging. Newfoundland and Labrador is better positioned for applicants who have a Newfoundland employer or a strong sector fit. Newfoundland's expression of interest system prioritizes specific labor market needs, rural occupations, and underrepresented sectors. It is mostly designed for people with a Newfoundland job connection. Nova Scotia. I love this province. This one is important because there has been a lot of noise about it recently. In February 2026, Nova Scotia consolidated its streams into 4 main categories, and some people took that consolidation as a sign that Nova Scotia was becoming more accessible. It was not. The consolidation streamlined the program structure, but it preserved the same employer-driven provincial connection logic that was underneath it. Nova Scotia remains harder for general overseas applicants who do not have employer support in the province. Prince Edward Island runs monthly draws and is technically open to overseas applicants, but PEI is a small province with limited nomination applications, and they are currently prioritizing high-demand sectors and candidates with provincial employer support. Monthly draws do happen, but the pathway is competitive and employer authorization matters significantly. Now, you must remember that all the Atlantic provinces, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland, have the Atlantic Immigration Program, which is very open even to people outside Canada. The AIP requires a job offer, though, in any of the 4 provinces. So if you're outside Canada, you do need a job offer first. Let's talk about Quebec. Quebec is not part of the provincial nominee program in that sense. Quebec operates its own completely separate immigration selection system, the Skilled Worker Selection Program. The eligibility criteria, the application process, the selection logic, all are different. Quebec is a legitimate and important pathway for many overseas candidates, but it has nothing to do with the PNP system that we are discussing today, so we won't get into it. Nunavut has no provincial nominee program, none whatsoever. So let me summarize the landscape for you clearly. Your realistic overseas PNP options as a skilled worker right now is have an express entry profile first. Then in terms of particular PNP programs, it's Saskatchewan first, Ontario second for express entry candidates with strong profiles, and Alberta third for candidates in priority occupations. Every other PNP in the country either requires a provincial job offer, a provincial connection, or a business investment. That is the truth. And it is better for you to know the truth and plan accordingly than to spend months applying to programs that were never really designed to select you. Now, before I give you an exact action plan, there's one more thing that I need to address, because this comes up a lot. Some people ask, can I just get nominated through Saskatchewan or Alberta and then move to Ontario after I get my PR? This is my honest answer. At the nomination stage, you must genuinely intend to live and work in the province that nominates you. RCC is explicit about this. The provincial nominee program exists for people who want to live in that specific province or territory. When you submit your application, you are declaring that intention, and that declaration needs to be real. Now, after you receive your permanent residency, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects your mobility rights. Permanent residents can legally live and work anywhere in Canada. That is your right. If after 1 or 2 years of genuinely building your life in Saskatchewan, you decide to relocate to Ontario, that is completely within your right as a permanent resident. But here's the caution. Some provinces actively track this and they share concerns with RCC. And if it emerges that your original declared intention to settle in the nominating province was not genuine, that may create a problem, not just for your own status, but potentially for other people who might be impacted by association with you. My strong advice is this: apply only to the province where you genuinely plan to settle and build your life initially. Not just because it is the safest path legally, but because it is the right thing to do. And the Canadian immigration system, despite its complexity, rewards people who engage with it honestly. So if you are outside Canada and you are serious about using the Provincial Nominee Program to build your pathway to permanent residency, here is your step-by-step action plan. Step 1, make sure you are in the express entry pool. Almost every realistic overseas PNP pathways runs through express entry. If you are not in the pool yet, if you have not created your express entry profile, that is your first task. Everything else depends on this. Step 2, check Saskatchewan's current eligible occupation list. If your occupation appears on it, Saskatchewan express entry and occupation in demand are your primary targets. Use Saskatchewan's points grid to calculate where you stand relative to the 60-point minimum. Be honest with yourself about your score before you invest further resources. Step 3, optimize your express entry CRS score for Ontario. The stronger your profile, the better positioned you are when Ontario runs a round that matches your background. And if you need help with express entry in terms of understanding how to create a profile or understanding how the system works, I have something in the description for you. Please go and check it out. It will help you in building your express entry profile. And step 4, if your occupation is in healthcare, technology, law enforcement, aviation, agriculture, or construction, add Alberta to your active monitoring list. Watch Alberta's draw announcements and targeted round selections. Step 5, just applying to a province hoping for a miracle is not a strategy. The people who succeed in this process are the people who identify the 2 or 3 pathways that genuinely match their profile and build precise, well-documented applications for those pathways. Precision wins. Spray and pray does not. Now, immigration in Canada changes often and changes fast. And the opportunity that exists today for overseas PNP applicants may look different 6 months down the road. So keep your eyes on Canada's immigration news. And that is why this channel exists. So having watched to this point, can you tell me which province that you think will fit your profile? And if you don't know, just drop what your occupation is in the comments and I could give you some pointers. If you want to go deeper and understand how to build your full Canada immigration strategy, watch this video that is showing on the screen right now. It builds directly on what we have just covered and it will add another layer to your strategy. Thank you so much for watching and please like the video and subscribe. My name is Sheyo Basi and this is the Canadian Dream.